The types of communication. Let's learn about the types of communication. The types of communication are about how you are communicating the message and includes verbal, nonverbal, oral, visual, and written. The first type of communication we will explore is verbal, which is any communication that happens orally, such as spoken words, language, tone of voice. Let's try using this type of communication. Imagine that you just got the best news possible. Congrats! Or what if you got the worst news possible? Oh no! How would you communicate that using only spoken words? Would you be understood just by your speaking words? The second type of communication is nonverbal, which is any communication that is non-linguistic, such as facial expressions, body language, and posture. Let's try using this type of communication. Again, imagine that you just got the best news possible. Congrats! Or what if you got the worst news possible? Oh no. How would you communicate that using only body language or gestures? Would you be understood just by your body language or gestures alone? The third type is oral, which is communication that involves the auditory system, hearing, such as sounds, music, listening, hearing, braille, large print, sign language. Let's practice oral communication. How would you communicate the best or worst news possible using only music or sounds? Do you think you would be understood by oral communication alone? The next type of communication is visual, which is any communication that is in a form that can be seen, such as signs, symbols, and pictures. Let's practice visual communication. How would you communicate the best or worst news using only signs or symbols? Do you think you would be understood by visual communication alone? The last type of communication is written, which is any communication that uses written words such as letters, emails, blogs, journals, text messages, and reports. Let's try using this type of communication. How would you communicate your good or bad news using only written words? Would you be understood just by your written words alone? While you focused on practicing each type of communication, it is likely that you were communicating with multiple types all at the same time. Take a moment and think back to how you expressed yourself through the various types of communication. When you were using verbal communication, did your facial expressions also express the good or bad news? When you were using oral communication, Did your tone and mannerisms also express your message? Or did they contradict one another? Were you smiling when sharing bad news? Or were you slumping and slouching when sharing good news? Keep practicing the different types of communication together to ensure that they all communicate the same message. It is important to keep in mind how to utilize the best types of communication, which can depend on a number of factors, such as the level of communication, situation or context, and barriers to communication. We will learn more about the barriers to communication in the next part of the lesson.